I want to read this morning from Psalm 51. This is, besides Psalm 23, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, the psalm that is read at almost every funeral. Psalm 51 is the psalm that I know best. It's the psalm that I've read the most. It's the psalm that I've prayed through the most. And just to give you a little background into this psalm, this is a psalm of David, King David, the same guy who fought Goliath, okay? Same guy. Not every psalm was written by David, but a lot of them were. And this was a psalm he wrote while he was king. And if you know the story, maybe you don't, David was on his roof and saw a bathing beauty on another rooftop named Bathsheba. And he wanted her. He didn't care that she was married. He wanted her. He was the king. He was used to getting whatever he wanted. And so he sent for her, and she came to him, and they slept together. He got her pregnant. And her husband, Uriah, was at war fighting for David, okay, a valiant soldier. And when Bathsheba told David that she was pregnant, he knew he had to clean up the mess he made. So he sent word to Uriah's general, whatever his name was, I forget, to put Uriah on the front line of the battle to ensure that he would die. And if he died, then his sins would be covered. And the plan worked. Uriah was sent to the front lines. He got killed in battle, and David took Bathsheba as his wife, and nobody knew. The secret was safe. And then one day, the prophet Nathan comes to David and says, I have an issue. There's something that has taken place in your kingdom that I think needs you to address it, needs you to, take care of it. And David said, what is it? He said, well, there's this rich man and there's this poor man, and they live next door to each other, and the rich man has a herd of sheep, flock. I don't know what they call them. A herd, flock, whatever. He's got a bunch of sheep. And the poor man has only one. And the poor man's family treats this one as if it is a part of the family. It's a pet. It's something that they love and they cherish. This is a lamb that eats from their table. And the rich man had a guest come into town, and rather than go and grab one of his sheep to kill and cook and serve for dinner, he sent his servants next door to grab the one lamb that belonged to this poor man, and they killed it and ate it. Well, David flips out, stands up from his throne and says, who is this guy? Surely he will die. Bring him to me. And the prophet Nathanael looks at him and says, thou art the man. You're the guy. That's what you did. And David just comes unglued. And he penned Psalm 51. This is what it says. Have mercy on me, O God, because of your unfailing love. Because of your great compassion, blot out the stain of my sin. Wash me clean from my guilt. Purify me from my sin. For I recognize my rebellion. It haunts me day and night. Against you and you alone have I sinned. I have done what is evil in your sight. You will be proved right in what you say, and your judgment against me is just. For I was born a sinner, yes, from the moment my mother conceived me. But you desire honesty from the womb, teaching me wisdom even there. Purify me from my sins, and I will be clean. Wash me, and I will be whiter than snow. Give me back my joy again. You have broken me, now let me rejoice. Don't keep looking at my sins. Remove the stain of my guilt. Create in me a clean heart, O God. Renew a loyal spirit within me. Do not banish me from your presence, and don't take your spirit from me. Restore to me the joy of your salvation, and make me willing to obey you. Then I will teach your ways to rebels, and they will return to you. Forgive me for shedding blood, O God who saves. Then I will joyfully sing of your forgiveness. Unseal my lips, O Lord, that my mouth may praise you. You do not desire a sacrifice, or I would offer one. You don't want a burnt offering. The sacrifice you desire is a broken spirit. You will not reject a broken and repentant heart. Oh God, let's pray together. God, I pray that you would give us ears to hear, minds that understand, and hearts that receive your truth, which alone can set us free. And we pray these things in Jesus' name. Amen. This is part 10 of my series, B-Side. And as I've mentioned each week, every record single that has ever been released has two sides. There's the A side, the hit, the song everybody knows, the song everybody likes, the song that gets all the attention. And then there's the B side, the less popular song. B-side songs were not produced for mass consumption. They were often grittier, darker, more experimental. They were a way for the band to sneak in a less popular song underneath a very popular song. Well, record singles aren't the only things that have two sides. We have two sides also. We've got our A side and we've got our B side. The A side is the version that we present, the version we want everyone to see. The confident, capable side, the pretty side, the smart side, the strong side, the funny side, the successful side, the side with the hits. That's what we want people to see. The B side is the side we don't advertise. The fearful side, the insecure side, the anxious side, the controlling side, the angry side, the side that manipulates, the hidden self, the story underneath the story. We have an A side and we have a B side. Rush has been one of my favorite bands since I was a kid. Love them. They are a Canadian rock trio. Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and the late, great Neil Peart, who was, in my opinion, the greatest drummer who ever lived. Byron thinks it's John Bonham, who was an amazing drummer. I don't know what Rick Janoff thinks. Greatest drummer, Neil Peart, John Bonham. 2 against 1. You got a buddy here. This is my son Nate's future father-in-law, which means we will have a lifetime of conversations about music, which I'm super excited about. But Rush is this Canadian rock trio known for powerful and precise musicianship and very thoughtful lyrics. Very. Their songs explore freedom, individuality, isolation, and what it means to be human. Now, I have a note in my notes in parentheses that simply says riff on Rush. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to riff on Rush for a minute, okay? Neil Peart, their drummer and primary lyricist, died in 2020, and for the most part, everybody thought Rush was done. And then they found a drummer 6 years later, a German girl by the name of Annika Niles, who's an absolute beast, and they decided that they would go back on tour, their 50th anniversary tour, and they opened up their worldwide tour last weekend in Los Angeles. And so the clips that you can see online are going viral. Amazing. I have loved this band since I was a kid. They were different. The amount of sound that came from 3 men was unbelievable. They were widely known as a progressive rock band. And prog rock, as is known in musical circles, is kind of experimental. It's longer songs. There's more instrumentation. There is precise musicianship. And Rush have always been remarkably precise. I would say in my opinion, that the two bands that were birthed in the 70s, well, one was birthed in the late 60s, but came to prominence in the 70s, Rush and Pink Floyd, are the two bands that had the most thought-provoking lyrics. Neil Peart and Roger Waters were amazing lyricists. Neil Peart for Rush and Roger Waters for Pink Floyd. Amazing lyricists, probing, bold. They looked at the human condition realistically, not through rose-colored glasses. And Rush has always been, literally since I was a kid, just one of my absolute favorite bands. I can't think of too many songs that I don't like. They're just smart, brilliant. They're kind of nerdy rock stars. And they were always known as that. Well, my favorite Rush song is Red Barchetta. You know it? You should. It's a song about driving a forbidden sports car in a future world where personal freedom is outlawed. It's a song about the innate desire to escape control and to take risks and to do whatever it takes to feel alive. But I'm not doing that song, okay? I would like to, and I almost changed it this morning. But instead, I'm doing their signature song, Tom Sawyer, which is one of the most recognizable rock songs ever recorded. I have literally had daydreams and night dreams about what that song will sound like out of the gate once I'm done with this sermon in this room, okay? It's going to be glorious, euphoric, okay? You're all going to see the Lord sitting in the high heavens. Tom Sawyer, if you know it, is a song about a larger-than-life figure. Strong, independent, confident, unshakable, the kind of person that we admire, the kind of person that people want to be, the kind of person who seems immune to weakness, a strong man, a sure man. It's not a song about a specific person. It's about an idealized modern individual, self-directed, uninfluenced by society's expectations, unwilling to be controlled. A modern-day warrior, mean stride. Today's Tom Sawyer, mean pride. Boom, 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 boom. I can't wait, okay? This is a man who refuses to be shaped by anyone else's script. No, his mind is not for rent to any god or government. It's a song that celebrates autonomy, self-reliance, and the refusal to conform to conventions. But it's not one-dimensional, because the same independence that makes him admirable also makes him difficult to know, difficult to reach. His emotional walls are thick. Don't put him down as arrogant. His reserve is a quiet defense, the song goes on to say. His reserve, a quiet defense, a self-protection mechanism. The modern-day warrior is strong, but he's also distant. He's self-sufficient, but he's also lonely. He's a man on an island by himself. Underneath the seeming unshakable strength of his A side is a B side. On the surface, he's confident. He operates with conviction. He will not follow whatever is trending. I get that. I like this dude. I'm kind of like this dude. He refuses to bow to company standards. But under the surface, he isolates. He's less certain than he appears. And he's hard to connect with. Hard to connect with. The truth is, strength and independence without openness and vulnerability become a prison. It's true for him. It's true for us. You can be admired and still be unknown. You can seem impressive and still be lonely. The A side gets applause, but it also builds walls. Walls that you don't notice at first because they look like discipline, focus, control. We admire those qualities. But over time, those walls become separation, not just from others, but from ourselves. When you live from your A side, the B side doesn't go away. We tend to think it does. We tend to think that if we can just suppress, ignore, deny the rough edges, the bad parts, that they'll just go away. They'll shrink and die. But the B side doesn't go away. It just goes underground. And what goes underground intensifies over time. Carl Jung taught that the parts of yourself you ignore, suppress, or reject don't disappear. Instead, they form what he called our shadow. And those things start showing up as emotional outbursts and unhealthy life patterns and toxic projections. In other words, if you ignore your B side, it will direct your life. It will own you. It will control you. You will be its slave. The less you reckon with these hidden parts of yourself, the more power they have over you. And so we spend an inordinate amount of time and energy in our lives not facing the hard truth about ourselves, not looking reality in the face, thinking that if we can just ignore, suppress, deny, that these things will go away, that they won't control us. But when we do that, we infuse those qualities with more control over us, not less. And that's the irony. The very thing the A side promises, freedom, control, self-definition, becomes its own kind of captivity. A life built on the A side only slowly thins out your humanness, your humanity. Because life was never meant to be a polished performance without interior honesty, deep self-awareness. When only the A side is allowed, you don't just lose vulnerability, you lose humanness. You lose a part of yourself that was meant to thrive. You become predictable, but not alive. You appear stable, but you're not real. Composed, but not free. People know what you do, but they don't know you, really know you. And while people may admire the A side, they can't relate to it. Because real humanity has edges, contradictions, tensions, needs, weaknesses, vulnerabilities, doubts, insecurities. The A side only life removes all of that. And what's left is not a better version of you, it's a narrower one, a shallower one. Less absorbent, less reachable, less human. And that's what makes Tom Sawyer, I think, so honest without even trying to be. Because he's not just strong and determined, he's untouchable. And untouchable starts to sound a lot like unreachable, impenetrable. That's why I relate to David the honest poet more than I do David the conquering king. The David who defeats Goliath is impressive. I mean, growing up in Sunday school, what kid wasn't mightily impressed by this young shepherd boy who took on this huge giant and won a battle for the entire country? I mean, it was, at the time, my favorite story in the Bible. I wanted to be just like David. I wanted to be brave and courageous like him. The David who fought Goliath is impressive. But the David who begs, "Have mercy on me, O God," makes me feel less alone in this world. I've said this before, but When people share their successes with me, I may be temporarily inspired. But when people share their failures with me, I feel less alone in this world. I love David, but the David that I prefer is the Psalm 51 David, the broken David, the shattered David, not the strong, mighty warrior David, but the David who comes unglued, the David who comes apart at the seams, the one who is shattered, torn, and finally getting honest about his B-side. Listen to this note I received not long ago. This person wrote and said, as a recovering alcoholic, I wasn't saved from that life by anyone who acted better than me. It was by hearing the real, raw, and honestly painful stories of others with weaknesses who themselves had hit rock bottom. That's it. That's it. The truth is, most of us are helped more by scars than resumes. More changed by honesty than projected put-togetherness. More healed by confession than competency. And yet we have this bent inside of us to believe that the A side of us is what people need most. The A side is what will get us the respect, what will connect us better with other people. The A side is what will get us the approval and the acceptance and the love that we long for. And so we do everything we can to conceal the dirty parts, the broken parts, the shattered parts, the B side parts. And yet, the people who helped me most when I was at the bottom were not the ones who seemed to have all the answers. There were plenty of those people who came out of the woodworks. People who had advice, counsel, who had always gotten it right and who were on a mission to help me get it right. And I always felt disconnected from those people, assessed by those people. It always came across somewhat condescending. They were in a better place, a higher place, a more put together place. And so the ones who seemed clean and impenetrable couldn't help me. They couldn't even understand me. But the ones who helped me the most were the ones who spoke openly about failure and shame and relapse and fear and regret. I connected with those people. When I sat in circles with those people, I felt seen. I felt understood. I knew almost immediately I had found my people. People who have come to terms with their own fragility, their own brokenness, their own messed upness. Those are the safest people to be around. Those have always been the safest people for me to be around because they're not shocked by sin and secrets and struggle. They don't look at you cross-eyed when you tell them about your B-side. They don't. The best ones look at you with empathetic eyes and simply say something to the effect of, me too. I get it. Those are the people that make us feel seen, not the ones who have it all together. So this idea that the A side will get us to where we need to be, if we can just conceal the B side, and if we can present the A side, we will be connected to people in a deeper way. We will get people to love us in a more profound way. As I said last week, when you wear a mask, only the mask gets loved. But the people who really connect with us and the people that we connect with are the ones who are honest, who have come to terms with their own fears, their own insecurities, their own screw-ups, their own brokenness. The ones who had been broken, the ones who were vulnerable, the ones who were honest, those are the ones that brought me back to life. Brought me back to life. And even the counselors that I had during that time who had been, for the most part, put back together, They were still so attuned to their own human condition that they weren't shocked by sin and they were still amazed by grace. Someone like Paul Zoll, for example, who I've talked about many, many, many times. He was my go-to. An older, wiser friend and mentor, a father figure to me, the one who didn't leave. I think I've told you this story. Maybe I told it at Fallen and Free, and most of you guys probably weren't here for that. But I remember sitting in a movie theater with my girlfriend, who is now my wife, and my mother and one of my mother's friends. I don't remember what movie we were seeing. But I mean, I had my Fall was broadcast globally. It was ridiculous, okay? I mean, people love dirty laundry, other people's dirty laundry, and mine was put out in the city center for everyone to see. And the more attention it got, the more people started to slowly slip away from my life. My presence in their life, as far as they were concerned, was contaminating. Their reputations were at risk if they remained my friend. And I remember thinking, I've got maybe 4 or 5 people in my life who won't budge. I've got my family, thank God, for the most part. I mean, my kids didn't budge. My mom, she got a little waffly from time to time, but you didn't budge, Mom. At the end of the day, you didn't budge. Gotta love you. But for the most part, all of my friends and colleagues that I had had for years slowly slipped away. And I remember sitting in that movie, and I got a text from Paul Zoll, who had a lot to lose by remaining to be my friend. And all it said was, "I'm still here, dear Tullian." That's it. Why? Because he knew his level of self-awareness was high. He knew that while he may not have been guilty of the same exact things I was guilty of, he knew that everything that anybody is guilty of exists in his own heart, whether he acts on it or not. He knew he wasn't better than anybody else. And so he was one that God used to sit on the bathroom floor with me for an extended period of time and nurse me back to health. I never felt judged, assessed, critiqued by Paul, but seen, known, loved. My dad would have been one of those had he been alive. He would have definitely been one of those had he been alive. But in the absence of my dad, God provided Paul. Our influence, and I think this is important to note, our influence in someone else's life comes from shared weakness, not strength. As impressive as Tom Sawyer may be, as admirable as he may be, I'm not inspired by him. I don't feel known by the Tom Sawyers of this world. Healing does not spread through superiority. It spreads through solidarity. You know this. You know this. You know that when you are sitting with someone who is absolutely convinced that they are better than you, more put together than you, healing is not the thing that emerges from that. But when you're sitting with someone who weeps with you, empathizes with you, looks at you in the eye and says, "Me too," you feel the healing start to happen. You feel seen, known, loved. And that's one reason why I've always loved Psalm 51. It's just honest. There's no denial of weakness. There's no sanitizing of failure. There's no rationalization. There's no justification. There's just pure ownership. Psalm 51 is a humane cry for mercy from the B-side. That's why I love it. It's so raw, so honest. Nothing feels more freeing than telling the truth about what we cannot fix. I get people from time to time on social media saying, "Man, get over it. That was a long time ago. You don't need to talk about it anymore. You're good." And I'm like, dude, you don't get it. My ability to talk openly about my own shame and guilt and brokenness is an expression of freedom. It means that I know I'm loved no matter what. Therefore, I don't care if you like me or not. And that means that I can tell you the truth about myself, and if you walk away, I might not like it, but I'll be okay, because I know God will never walk away. That gives you a freedom, a dangerous freedom that actually brings healing into other people's lives. So nothing feels more freeing than telling the truth about what we cannot fix. This sort of overly optimistic view of humans that some religious people have. We don't talk about sin. We don't talk about brokenness. That's in the past. The old is gone. The new has come. So we don't talk about it. We don't give any attention to it. Live in the freedom of newness. Blah, blah, blah. What it looks like to be new is the freedom to talk about the old without shame, without guilt. I can talk about it. I can be unedited. That's freedom. I can let you see me and not be paralyzed by what you discover. Which is why this psalm starts with exposure, but it ends with mercy. Whew, powerful. Exposure always leads to mercy. Concealment leads to slavery. You know, I was thinking about this morning as I was making, final preparations on my notes, but this place is different, man. It's just different. The sanctuary is a different kind of place. But if you've spent any time in or around churches like I have, then you know that churches are not the safest places to be real. There's a lot of hiding that happens in religious circles, because the expectation is that you have it together, or you're getting it together, or you're put together, or that you are right. This place is different. It's a recovery place masquerading as a church. We call it the sanctuary for a very particular reason, because we want this place to be a refuge, a place where you can tell the truth about yourself and not face rejection. A place where you can tell the truth about yourself and not be kicked out, sidelined. This place is different. I've said it, and I say it weekly to people. I get notes from people. I got a note from somebody yesterday simply saying, I don't know if I can stay at the church where I'm at because I feel like I have to put on a mask to be accepted there. This person said, if the people in my church really knew me, they would be scandalized. So I have to hide that part of myself. I don't have to hide that part of myself from my non-religious friends, but I have to hide that part of myself from my religious friends. I fear rejection if they knew me. This place is different. And so I've said numerous times, I've been around for a while. I was born behind the curtain. And if the sanctuary didn't exist, I don't think I would go to church. And it's not because I would stop believing in God or stop believing that I need to be in community. That's not it at all. Why waste my time going to a place where I can't be Psalm 51 David? Why? I've lost too much to be concerned with how curated I am, how edited I am. I am who I am. It's maybe a acquired taste, but I don't know how to be anything other than me. The good, the bad, the ugly. I don't know how to be anything else. And I love this place because I have the freedom to be that. I have the freedom to show you scars. I have the freedom to show you dirt. And you guys get it. This is a different kind of place. It's a unique kind of place. There's not a lot of showmanship here. We're not leading with our successes. We tend to lead with our failures. We tend to lead with our scars. Not because we're wallowing in them and we're just wallowing in a pool of self-pity, but because we have finally been set free to the point where we can talk about that stuff honestly. That's freedom on another level. Anytime somebody tries to tell you that that part of you is not a part of you that you can share with anybody, it's not a safe person. When the men meet on Thursday nights at the vault, one of the things that we make clear is that this is a place where you can be unedited. You don't need to sanitize your language. You don't need to sanitize your story. You don't need to sanitize any part of you. Every single person needs at least one place where they can go and be unedited. Unedited. Where you can share your fears and you can share your insecurities and you can share your struggles without fearing rejection. And so we ask guys, the only real rule we have when it comes to our disposition is just don't edit yourself. Be yourself. And it takes guys time to do that from time to time. That's not something that happens overnight. A lot of guys come in, they feel it out. Is this really a place where I can be myself? Because I've heard other places say that I can be myself, and the minute I am myself, I get pulled aside and talked to. Is this really a place? So there's some feeling it out, but over time they realize, damn, dude, okay, this really is. I mean, I'm in there talking about my secrets and my struggles and my sins, not because I feel the need to do it, because I'm the pastor of the sanctuary. I need that group. I need it. I need a place like that. Tom Sawyer gives us the image of the man who cannot be touched. Psalm 51 gives us the image of the man who has been shattered. One is self-contained, the other is falling apart. One needs nothing from anybody, the other needs everything from God. Tom Sawyer stands tall, David collapses. Tom Sawyer is the man we want to be, David is the man we actually are. Psalm 51, David. And that's the surprise. That's sort of the plot twist, because the strong man isn't the free man. The untouchable man isn't the peaceful man, because if nothing can touch you, neither can love. If no one can get in, no one can help. No one can forgive. No one can heal. You spend your life running from yourself. David's freedom begins when the walls come down, when the excuses run out, when the image breaks, when he finally admits his B-side. Finally. And there, in the rubble of everything he spent years building, he discovers something better than strength. Freedom. Real freedom. And as it turns out, mercy is stronger than strength. Because strength says, I have to carry this myself. But mercy says, you don't have to.
Sawyer, mean pride. Though his mind is not for him, don't put him down as arrogant. he gets high on you.